Financial choices can be really stressful in part because of the emotional impact of thinking about your money. There's also the fact that it's hard to know if you're making the right decision or not. And on top of all of that, they're very difficult to make, so it takes a lot of mental bandwidth to make a decision. Hi, I'm Heidi Johnson. I'm the Director of Behavioral Economics at the Financial Health Network. A lot of financial choices are really tough because they involve trade-offs between things that we have a really hard time deciding between. So something like deciding about whether to pay down some of your debt or to start saving, really difficult to choose between those two competing goals. The same goes for kind of near-term financial goals versus the long-term. How much should I be putting away now versus into the future? These questions are really hard because there is no right answer, but the most important thing is really just to get started. It's really important to not be paralyzed by that decision, but just pick a path, and taking action is the most important thing that you can do. To reduce the stress of financial decisions, there's really 3 key steps that you need to take. The first step is to pick one goal. The second step is to make a plan to achieve that goal. And then the third is to track your progress towards it. So let me break down each of those steps. For the first one, picking one goal, it's going to be a lot easier to pursue that goal and to not be stressed about it if you don't have a lot of things to keep in mind at once. So picking one can help you really focus in and feel less stressed about it. So once you've picked your goal, you're going to want to make a plan to achieve that goal. If you put a plan in place, you're much more likely to be able to take action, and it's going to be a lot less stressful to have thought through the steps that you need to get there. So a plan will include something like deciding how and when and all the specifics around how you're going to achieve that goal. So if you take the example of deciding to save, you're going to want to decide how much to save, when to save it, like how often. Do you want to do that once a week, once a month? And you're also going to want to pick an account to save into. So that could be something like thinking about a payroll deduction that goes directly into a savings account. You might think about an automatic transfer between your checking account and your savings account. Really figure out those details, and then you'll be equipped to move forward and take action. The third step then is to track your progress. It's going to be so much more motivating and so much less stressful if you recognize all the progress you've made along the way. Even just picking a goal and making a plan, that's progress in itself, and it's worth celebrating. And so if you keep track of that and kind of tick off as you go along, you're going to be really motivated to keep going and to get to that end point of that goal. No matter what age you are, it's really valuable to be planning for the future with 2 types of savings. One type is emergency savings, and the other type is contributing to a retirement account. Even if you have to start really small, getting started saving for each of those is so valuable because the balances really build up over the long term and prepare you for success in the future. A common mistake that people make around their financial choices is being too afraid to dip into their emergency savings. Some people will choose to take on some more debt when they've got some unexpected expense that comes up, but that's what emergency savings are there for, right? Is to use it in case of emergency. And so instead of taking on debt, start to get comfortable with the idea of actually using your savings. And then you can put a plan in place for how you're going to replenish those funds once you've got a little bit more to work with. So the great news about making choices about your money is that you don't have to take the hard road. So one tip for saving is that you can go ahead and get started saving even if you have a very small amount to save on a regular basis. Try automating that into a savings account. I know it can be daunting if you're living paycheck to paycheck, but think about what's an amount that would be manageable that you could stick with and save with on a regular basis. Even a small amount is going to really add up over time. For retirement savings, take away all of the complicated decisions around what fund do I save into? Should I be thinking about bonds or stocks? You can just clear all of that out of the way and pick a target retirement date fund. These target date retirement funds are set up to kind of be the right mix of investments depending on the year that you expect to retire. And it just really simplifies the decision, makes it a lot easier to get started saving for retirement when you don't have to pick between all these different funds. For managing debt, start to pay down your small debts first so that you can just get them off of your mind. It's going to be really motivating to just kind of close out an account and get that off of your plate so that then you can move on to the next step. and keep it going from there. So you can start small, make sure to close any accounts that you can so that you can tackle the things that might have higher balances or higher interest rates once you've got that momentum going.